A large number of Chinese cargo planes are flying to Europe to dump goods. Chinese customs says the situation is serious. Global grain trader ADM withdraws from domestic trade in China and lays off employees in Shanghai. Chinese companies take over steel mills and face bankruptcy. British Trade Minister: the government was too naive before.
It's all covered in today's China Truths.
The United States suspended reciprocal tariffs on 75 countries for 90 days, but imposed a 145% tariff on China. Many Chinese businesses stepped up exports before the reciprocal tariffs took effect. Although this pushed up China's export growth in March, some Hong Kong media said that this was China's last hurrah. China's export window will be almost closed after U.S. tariffs take effect. The General Administration of Customs of the Communist Party of China said on the 14th that total U.S. exports in March increased by about 9% year-on-year. Total exports in March increased by 12.4% year-on-year. In terms of total imports and exports, ASEAN ranked first and the EU ranked second. However, the Hong Kong South China Morning Post reported the news with the title, "Last Hurry." Julian Evans Pritchard, head of China Economics at Capital Economics, said, "Shipments are expected to fall in the next few months or even quarters, and it may take several years for China's exports to return to the current level." Faced with the 145% tariff imposed by the United States, the General Administration of Customs of the Communist Party of China also admitted at a press conference on the 14th that China's export situation is grim, but political slogans were also frequently shouted at the meeting. Lu Daliang, spokesman for the General Administration of Customs of the Communist Party of China, "At present, my country's exports are indeed facing complex and severe external situations, but the sky will not fall." However, China's exports to countries other than the United States may also be frustrated in the future. French Finance Minister Eric Lombard said in an interview with BFM TV over the weekend that about 600 large cargo planes carrying Chinese products fly from China to Europe every night, flooding the European market with a large number of low-priced products, which does have an impact on European companies. He told West France that France will push the EU to set border quotas to prevent a large influx of Chinese goods. However, the Sino-US trade war has not stopped there. According to the latest information released by the White House on April 15th, China will face tariffs of up to 245% on goods exported to the U.S. due to the country's retaliatory actions. This new rate marks a sharp increase compared to the total tariff of 145% on made-in-China products announced by the Trump administration on April 10th. In response, Beijing had earlier imposed a 125% tax on U.S. goods starting April 12th and tightened the export of strategic minerals. When asked at a press conference about China's reaction to the new 245% tariff, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Lin Jian suggested that reporters should ask the U.S. side for an answer. China appears to be in a desperate and helpless position in the face of President Trump's escalating tariffs. Global grain trader ADM withdraws from domestic trade in China and lays off employees in Shanghai. On Monday, April 14th, global grain trader ADM said in an emailed statement that, as part of a global cost-cutting initiative, the company has begun to close its domestic trade business in China and lay off employees in Shanghai. ADM, Archer Daniels Midland, is one of the world's largest agricultural processors and food ingredient suppliers, with major products including natural flavors, pigments, vegetable oils, corn sweeteners, flour, animal feed, and biofuels. ADM is known as one of the 4 major grain traders, together with Bunge, Cargill, and Louis Dreyfus. Reuters reported that ADM has been mired in an accounting scandal since last year. The company said in a statement that the move is intended to help the company remain flexible in a challenging environment. ADM's earnings have been eroded by plummeting crop prices, falling consumer demand due to inflation, and weak crop processing margins, with operating profits in the large agricultural services and oilseeds (AS&O) division falling 40% last year. Escalating trade tensions between the U.S. and China are also creating new headwinds for ADM, which is heavily dependent on trade between the United States, the largest agricultural product exporter, and China, the largest agricultural product importer. ADM said, "Toepfer Shanghai's domestic trading business in China is expected to be phased out by the end of September, but other operations in Shanghai are not affected." The company did not disclose the number of layoffs, but a person familiar with the matter said the layoffs will affect 40 to 50 employees, leaving only about 10 employees in Shanghai. The agricultural services and oilseed business teams in China have been basically laid off, said a source, who added that the two units are ADM's largest business units. ADM began laying off employees in February as part of a broader cost-cutting plan to save $500 million to $700 million over the next 3 to 5 years. The company previously reported its lowest adjusted profit in 6 years in the fourth quarter. Chinese companies take over steel mills and face bankruptcy. British Trade Minister. The government was too naive before. China Jingye Group bought British Steel in 2020. Now it requires huge support from the UK because the blast furnace it operates is not enough to cover costs, but there is no guarantee that the blast furnace will continue to operate. After the British government recently decided to take over the steel plant, British Business and Trade Minister Reynolds said on April 13th that the government was too naive to let sensitive steel industries fall into the hands of Chinese companies. AFP reported that the British steel plant is located in Scunthorpe, Northern England, employing thousands of employees. It is the last plant in the UK that can produce raw steel and produces important steel for the UK construction industry, rail transportation, and other industries. Jingye Group previously stated that the blast furnace running the Scunthorpe plant is no longer enough to cover costs. Jingye Group bought British Steel in 2020 and said it had invested more than £1.2 billion, about $1.57224 billion US, to maintain operations, but it still loses about £700,000, about $917,000 US a day. After British MPs learned that the steel plant might be closed next month, the British Parliament held an emergency meeting on the 12th to discuss the uncertain future of British Steel. Finally, it urgently passed a bill to prevent the closure of the plant and announced that it would take over the company and would not rule out nationalizing it. Jonathan Reynolds told Sky News on the 14th, "As a country, we have made the wrong decisions in the past." He accused past conservative leaders of allowing Chinese companies to operate sensitive infrastructure, saying, "We were too naive about this kind of thing." Reynolds said that some industries are more sensitive than others, and much of the trade between Britain and China is conducted in non-controversial areas. Reynolds later revealed to the BBC that Jingye Group had rejected a grant of about £500 million and instead demanded more than twice the amount, with little guarantee that the blast furnace would continue to operate. China's economy is in recession, and all industries are depressed. A large number of videos circulating online show that just 1 month after the Chinese New Year, a wave of people returning home has emerged in Shanghai, Guangdong, Jiangsu, and Zhejiang because those who went out to work can't find jobs. Recently, a large number of videos have circulated on short video platforms such as Douyin in mainland China, showing that just over a month after the Chinese New Year, the first wave of returning home in 2025 has begun. In many former manufacturing bases, a large number of people who can't find jobs have started taking buses home. One video shows that at a long-distance bus station in Guangzhou, at least hundreds of people are carrying large and small bags, waiting for buses to return home. The person filming said that because they can't find jobs in Guangzhou, more and more people have no choice but to go home. This year's market, working may be a loss. There are also videos showing that the return home tide in Guangzhou started as early March, with a large number of migrant workers preparing to return home at the station. Many videos also show that stations in Shenzhen, Guangdong, Nanjing, Jiangsu, Suzhou, and other places are crowded with people returning home. Some netizens have also filmed videos showing that trains from Shanghai to Henan were packed with standing passengers, mostly migrant workers who could not find jobs in Shanghai and had to return home. Many mainland netizens ridiculed that this was the reality behind the CCP party media's report that 15 million people returned to their hometowns to start businesses. Some bloggers said that former manufacturing bases such as Jiangsu, Zhejiang, and Shanghai are no longer as prosperous as before, with foreign trade orders disappearing in large numbers and many factories not hiring. Only a few factories with domestic orders are hiring, but wages and benefits have been significantly reduced, while the cost of food and accommodation in coastal areas remains very high. Working will lose money, so a large number of workers have no choice but to return home. In addition to manufacturing, the real estate recession has also seriously impacted employment. A real estate agent in Nanjing, Jiangsu, revealed that while there were nearly 200 construction sites in Nanjing in 2024, it is expected that there will be only 70 throughout the year, a sharp drop of 64%. And the number of workers on construction sites has been significantly reduced. Many migrant workers who went to Nanjing construction sites in search of jobs have now returned home.
Chinese bank employees' winter struggles running around for loans go viral, resonates with many. A recent video of a bank relationship manager in mainland China struggling to find loan clients in the bitter winter has gone viral on social media. A bank employee in China revealed more details about the situation as follows. A client manager at a bank in Nanjing, China, filmed herself in a video describing her difficult experience of running around in the harsh winter to find businesses and individuals needing loans. In the video, she said that she faced a dilemma at work. If she goes outside to find clients, she has a pile of forms at home that need to be filled out. If she stays home to complete the paperwork, she is called out to find clients. It's too difficult, I'm stuck in both directions. Moreover, I've already visited all the major markets around here. She continued, there are too few people who need loans. Are there even businesses left that need loans? Many businesses have collapsed in the last 2 years due to the pandemic and the economic environment. She added, if we don't deliver loans soon, we'll be called in for talks. I want to deliver loans too, but where are the businesses? Where are the clients? She also mentioned that it's tough for businesses, for banks, and especially for bank employees. The performance indicators at the bank are getting more and more detailed. In addition to business targets, there are political ones, and all sorts of miscellaneous tasks are also being assessed. Her video resonated with many colleagues in the industry. A customer service manager in Chongqing complained online, there's rejection, cold shoulders, harassment, and constantly handing out flyers, making endless marketing calls, and never being able to meet loan targets. It's non-stop with overdue bad debts, and many client managers wish they could just become tellers. A customer service manager from Luoyang, Hunan, commented online that there are too many small businesses unable to repay loans in the last 2 years. They are all overdue. Even the clients we thought were high quality in the past are now barely able to turn things around. A family member of a bank employee from Fujian said online, my husband works at the bank. I don't understand many of the systems, and I don't agree with much of the work. The higher-ups earn big salaries, but the employees at the bottom work their legs off. They only look at results, not processes, and they often deduct money. Some employees' salaries are already negative, and the banking profession is pretty disgusting. Mr. Zhao, who works in management at a provincial branch of one of China's 4 major state-owned banks, explained that bank employees are worried about not getting enough business and failing to meet their targets. Colleagues still doing customer relations told me that because of the economic situation, there are no major projects anymore. Those who used to handle big clients are now forced to pursue microfinance, or else they can't survive. The overall economy is in decline, businesses lack the demand for financing and expanding their operations, so there's little need for loans. Individuals don't want to take out consumer loans because they have no money, and the real estate market is depressed, so they don't want to take out mortgages. He further explained that now that banks are unable to issue loans, even though many people are saving and avoiding spending, this situation is not good for the banks. After all, banks mainly make money through interest rate spreads. If individuals have too much savings and too few loans, it's actually a loss for the bank. Corporate deposits have also dropped significantly because businesses are not making money, so their deposits are low. Earlier reports by mainland media First Financial showed that statistics from 42 listed Chinese banks revealed that the total number of employees decreased by about 38,000 in the first half of the year. Among these 42 banks, 30 reported a decrease in average monthly salaries compared to the same period last year. Salary cuts and layoffs have become the norm in the banking industry. Previously, the average salary in the banking sector was around $4,100 per month, but now it has fallen to less than $1,400 due to rising bad debts and shrinking net interest margins. Mr. Zhao mentioned that his bank also cut salaries. Initially, it was the headquarters that reduced salaries, and recently, it was our provincial branch that made the same move, cutting 10%. We were notified in November that our salaries will be reduced this month, and they want us to give back the entire annual reduction within the next 2 months. It feels like a little over 10%, and I heard the leaders took a bigger cut. He explained that their bank has 4 levels: branches, secondary branches, provincial branches, and headquarters. The bank prioritizes ensuring that the lower-level branches and secondary branches are kept operational because they generate the revenues. But because of the economic situation, loan performance is poor, so the actual income should have decreased. He continued, the reduction mainly affects performance bonuses. The basic salary remains relatively unchanged, but the performance bonuses are where most of the compensation comes from. At the provincial and headquarters levels, it's based on average performance, while the client managers at the grassroots level earn more based on how much they sell. He believes that the 4 major state-owned banks in China must be running out of money, given the overall economic environment. There's fierce competition between banks, and even in a shrinking market, there's still internal competition. An employee from China Merchants Bank in Jiaxing confirmed that their salary cuts started in September, citing cost reduction and efficiency improvement as the reasons. This has led to many employees resigning, especially at the grassroots level. One person resigned in October and left in November. Her performance targets were high, and her client resources were poor, so next year was uncertain. But she had money at home, so she left to travel. A netizen from Inner Mongolia posted online on November 29, "Which industry is making money these days?" They mentioned various sectors suffering a cold winter, including hospitals, banks, schools, the entertainment industry, TV stations, civil servants, and lawyers. Mr. Wang, an intellectual in Beijing concerned with people's livelihoods, explained that most people have completely lost confidence in China's economy because the authorities have been printing money like crazy, leading to severe inflation. Add to this the corruption, the transfer of wealth, and the extravagant spending on diplomacy by the CCP elites. The economic system has already pushed China's society to the brink of a complete economic collapse. Banks, as instruments of the elite to extract wealth from the people, are also self-destructing in this collapse. Furthermore, with the exodus of foreign capital and the closure of businesses, the elite have no need for loans, while countless small and medium-sized enterprises and ordinary people have no access to loans. Their savings, credit, and future potential have all been drained by the market. He emphasized, now even banks are struggling to survive. As for the countless common people and small businesses, they have nothing left and are just struggling to scrape by. China is currently undergoing a major economic collapse.